right, everyone, welcome to this week's matchup of the Madison Marvels versus the Franklin Knights. This is the Silver teams. We are getting ready for an amazing matchup today as we are in the semifinals here. Obviously, Friday is not a normal day for us to be playing, and rightly so. We are getting into an amazing planned game for the semifinals. If the Marvels win this game against the Franklin Knights, they're going to move on into the final match. We'll have that tomorrow. Again, we'll have, as normal, we'll also have many other games tomorrow as well. We got a lot of finals coming up for the Marvels Gold team, as well as a lot of Rocket League games coming at you. So we are getting ramped up for a lot of amazing final matches here at XPL Madison. Looking forward to it. We got, as we get in, we are, let you know of a quick substitution. We are unfortunately down Lunar Eclipse due to some unforeseen stuff, and instead we have elected to have Phantom coming up from the Eagles Silver team, helping us out, helping the Marvels out in their path to possible victory. We're getting ready for that, and without further ado, let's just get into the matchup here. And with that, we are on Kings Row for your first match of the final matchup. We're going to be playing the hybrid maps this week for the semifinals and also into the finals. Kind of a good setup for the teams, as a hybrid kind of takes the combination of the control or assault maps as well as escort maps. And so if you're unfamiliar with hybrid, basically what you're going to be doing is the attacking team, the red team currently, the Knights, are going to be attacking and trying to capture this first objective. Once they do, a payload will spawn, and with that, once the payload spawns, the attacking team, we're going to have to push it off to the end, and we'll see what they can do and how far they can push it. So let's see what they can do here. We see the Marvels setting up for a pretty aggressive first defense here. Keep an eye on Ripper here as that Bastion. Be able to dish a lot of damage out, but that Junkrat's gonna cause a little problem from there. See what the team can do as they back up. As the Franklin Knights pushing in. The Reaper on the flank. Phantom is in trouble with Tiny Beast there as well. And with that flank, the Marvels aren't able to do too much about it, as enemies are all around them. The respawn times comes out, though, as we see what looks to be, yes, Dominate coming out on that D.Va. But unfortunately, it looks like a lot of players died here. And because of that, it's going to be pretty tough, as they're going to just need to capture this point here. I think they're going to have to give it here, as the Franklin Knights did pretty good team wipe. And so the Marvels are looking here. Let's see. Hexy 1X as that Reinhardt diving in, causing a lot of damage, but unfortunately not finding too much with it. Where did the team go? Unfortunately, it looks like the Marvels did go down to the Franklin Knights. Marvels are going to need to group up and find a little bit more strategy here. Looks like they're playing a little bit on their own, playing the solo queue roles, and the Franklin are just capitalizing on that. As we see a Riptire coming out, finds one from Ghost, it looks like. The Ghost on that high ground, using that to his advantage, and Dominate, as well as the help of Ghost, are going to push in. The Nano Boost comes out onto Dominate as he pushes into the Franklin backline, getting a lot of damage out. Phantom with that anti-nade is going to finish it off. We've seen from the Eagles that Phantom plays a pretty mean Ana. I think the Eagles just haven't had a really good opportunity to really capitalize and make that Ana play and that skill that Phantom shows kind of known because of their lack of players. But we can see here with a full team able to get a lot in. The Anti-Nade did a lot. But looks like the Marvels are slowly going down to the Franklin Knights, as looks like Phantom gets kind of caught out almost to this next checkpoint. So the Marvels are going to have to either touch and try to throw themselves onto that point, or at the very least get ready for a next setup as a Diva Bomb comes out, finds 2 eliminations. But the Reaper ult from the Franklin team is going to come out and kill off Ripper, sorry. Looks like the Marvels were just able to contest. As a little bit more aggressive strategy comes out, we see Hexy1X on that Roadhog, able to hook a lot of characters. We don't see quite a lot of Roadhog from our Marvels or Eagles team, so this is going to be one of those final picks to maybe mix up the enemy team. Roadhog's able to get that hook off and deal a lot of damage. The Diva Bomb comes out onto the point. Tiny Beast with the Transcendence to kind of counteract it, but unfortunately the damage from the Diva Bomb just overpowers the healing done by the Transcendence. It's just not going to be enough. The Riptire coming out, as well as the Gravitic Flux from the Franklin, is going to be pretty tough for the Marvels to handle. Not a lot go down though, so they're just barely able to hold out as the Marvels split up just a little bit here. And unfortunately, because of that split up, the Franklin are able to take advantage of that and take the point. They only had just a little bit more to go, and with 3 minutes and a half remaining on that timer, it is going to be pretty tough for the Marvels to hold this last point with 3 minutes remaining. Hoping to see a little bit more coordination from the Marvels, as I said before, it looks like they're playing a little bit of solo queue here. And because of that, going to be pretty tough for them. The Marvels going down. Lucio coming out from the Franklin. It's going to mean they're going to come out pretty aggressively, and with the Marvels kind of off on their own, it's going to be pretty difficult. As a Reaper Death Blossom comes out, finishing off the rest of the Marvels. Nano Boost onto Hexy1X, or Dominate, I believe. And with that, he's going to push through, getting a couple eliminations, 3 eliminations out, and denying that quick push from the Franklin. But again, with 2 minutes remaining, and the Marvels, looking at the way they've been playing today, we've seen a lot better, I think. Maybe they're a little tired, they're a little off their game because it's a Friday game. But we see Ghost here has that Riptire, probably saving it for the case where might get caught out. As long as he can survive, he can at least use that Riptire to counteract any push. And here it comes. Gonna find 2. That might be what the Marvels are going to be needing, but with only Ghost and Tiny Beast on the point, they're going to need to touch. We see Dominate coming in, using that Wrecking Ball, trying to touch that point, spinning around that point with that tether. Able to at least stall the point as much as possible until the Marvels can get back up. And they end up eventually respawning. Let's see if they can make something out of it. It is crazy as the Franklin look like actually they're kind of grouping up here, trying to make sure that they can go in a lot more coordinated. We do hear a Riptire coming out, but doesn't seem like it's going to matter as we see Liam Warwick on that Wrecking Ball able to spin around that point and make sure that the Marvels do not touch that point, that boop ability. So kind of recap what happened there. So the Franklin Knights were able to push all the way to the end of the point, and with 56 seconds to remain, so the Marvels need to capture all three objectives, all three checkpoints, if you will, and they need to do it and then hopefully have enough in their time bank that they're going to be able to capture a little bit more than what the Franklin Knights are able to in their 56 allotted time seconds. And so let's see what the silver team can do. As I said before, I'm going to keep nailing it on the head here. The silver team, we are in the semifinals. Each team is giving it their all and making every stop they can, 110% to win these games. The semifinals, this is no joke here at the XP League. And so the Marvels really need to kind of kick it into gear and make sure that they're a little bit more coordinated, because the Franklin Knights have proven that they are quite coordinated and ready to rumble. As we push up, we're going to watch Hexy1X with that shield on that Reinhardt. Going to dive in with that charge in a bad way, where looks like the Franklin Knights are able to get that backline because Hexy1X is pushing in past the team, not able to defend them very well. He dominates, stays back, able to survive, getting ready for the next fight, holding that ult charge. We see on the top there, he does have that 50% ult charge as opposed to some lower percentages. Looks like the Marvels are pushing into the side room. Let's follow them out as we see Hexy1X and a little bit of a split here as they're going to push in. That high ground advantage with that Bastion and that Orisa is going to be tough to crack, but we see Ghost getting a couple eliminations in the back line. Does get eliminated for it, but I think it's going to be worth it just at least for the time being. But the res comes out on the Franklin Knights, getting that Bastion, able to really dish out a lot of damage, dominate with that black hole in his hand, able to absorb a lot of bullets coming from the Bastion, but is it going to be enough? Looks like the Marvels did end up losing that fight. Dominate coming in, maybe just trying to get a little bit of damage in before he goes down. Got the Gravitic Flux, so hopefully the Marvels can find a big ult here as the Gravitic Flux does come out, finds 3 instead, and is going to allow the team to push through. This enemy Sigma, though, has an ult to say about it. With 3 eliminations coming out from the Marvels onto the team, it's going to be a Junkrat and a Mercy. That's going to be pretty big for the Marvels. But Sigma is able to stall the point pretty well, and with the elimination of Sigma, Marvels are going to be able to come in. The Bastion is coming out, though. Trying to get that accretion onto Bastion. It was a valiant effort coming out from the Franklin Knights, but unfortunately, it looks like the Marvels, unfortunately for them, not us, the Marvels will take that point. It looks like Warwick is out of position a little bit, and the Marvels are going to take advantage of that. Got a lot of ults coming out onto the Marvels, so we're going to hope to see that they can use those effectively and not all at once, because they're going to need to quickly capture these points. Looks like the Franklin are breaking. Giving the time, a little bit of time for the Marvels, the rest of the Marvels team to respawn a bit here. See a Reaper in the back line, but the Marvels going to keep going. But despite that, the Hexy1X pushing in, getting a lot of damage in, and Ripper on that Pharah gets that ult in, and a wonderfully placed lantern, but is it going to be enough to save him? Looks like only Tiny Beast goes down. That is not a complete loss here, but with Hexy 1X pushing in alone, it's going to be pretty easy for the Franklin Knights to capitalize on that positioning. Zenyatta ult as a Sigma ult, both kind of whiff here. See if the Marvels can take advantage of this maybe small little communication mistake as we see Ghost coming in with a Riptire. Finds two, is able to take away that back line, as well as a huge Sigma ult coming out from Dominate. Is able to get that Mercy and deny some healing and some resurrection of capability. Hexy 1S pushing in. Let's see if he's able to at the very least box away this Sigma, making a lot of space for the Marvels to be able to try to finish off some kills, but unfortunately the damage and the heals kind of go down, and with that the Franklin Knights seem to win that fight. Again, we just need to see the Marvels coordinate just a little bit more so that they can a little bit more easily push in. I'll get a quick position here. So Tiny Beast here is ulting as if to say, let's go, guys, let's go. And with that, they're going to push in as a fight breaks out. Good positioning there to get rid of that Reaper. He was looking for an ult. We can definitely smell it. But a lot of team members for the Marvels are going to be going down. Valiant effort coming out from Ripper, but Ghost coming out with the Riptire. Gets 3, and with only a minute remaining, I think that's going to be enough for the Marvels to capture this objective. Managing to do it, getting 2 more minutes on their time bank. That's going to be a huge boon into the Marvels' favor. Managing to just kind of eke it out, but again, Hexy 1X just pushing in all alone. Ideally, the Marvels are going to want to work together more. Let's see if Franklin comes out with a Death Blossom and a Sigma ult for Vidic Flux. Looks like the Marvels now are breaking. We got Ghost and Phantom up on the top, just trying to survive as they are kind of on an island amidst a pool of sharks. Fortunate, to say the least. The Marvels are going to have to regroup. And we see Hexy 1X on that D.Va diving in, causing a lot of chaos onto the Franklin front line. Sigma ult coming out from Dominate, but with the Zenyatta ult, it's going to counteract that, keep the healing and keep him alive, creating ult for ult. And a Riptire out from Ghost. It's going to find the shield on that Reinhardt. And a window out from Phantom. That's going to be pretty tough for them, and that's going to mean that they take this fight at the very least. With 50 seconds remaining, they're going to have to push it in the rest of the way. It's going to be very tough for the Marvels here. The Ripper on the point there, doing a lot of damage as that Bastion. But that Riptire is going to come out. Let's see if it's going to be enough to get this Ripper. But amazing play coming from Phantom, denying that Junkrat Riptire. There's a Reaper on the point. They have to get rid of this Reaper. And once they do, they're going to be able to push it to this beautiful golden box. A lot going on. Ultimates being used. Tiny Beast gets caught up, but uses the ult reactively. D.Va Bomb coming out. Manages to find a couple, but with the Mercy left there, Franklin are just throwing themselves onto the point, and with that, the Marvels are able to defend the point. Or not defend, but push the Franklin team off. They get a minute in their time bank, and we're going to go to the third round of this first match. Woofda. It is tied up, as you can see on the top. The Marvels have a minute in their bank. And the Franklin Knights have a minute and 56. So just under 2 minutes. So the Marvels are going to be defending first, just as they did the first round. And with that in mind, ideally the Marvels are going to hope to stop the Franklin Knights dead in their tracks. And if they're able to do that, then they're going to be able to have a lot more space to work with. As, again, they have 2 minutes. That extra minute. Righty. So the Marvels are attacking first, it looks like. See what they can do. Ghost coming out with that Genji play. Kind of probably maybe anticipating some more Bastion to come out. Marvels do look a little bit more coordinated as they push through, using Ripper as that ability to kind of push the Franklin back a little bit and give them a little bit of space, because that line of fire, the bullets coming out from Bastion, is going to be a lot of damage. He's going to find one onto the Junkrat and find two onto the damage. The damage dealers are down, and an accretion goes on to Ripper. But it looks like the Marvels are slowly going down. But with 13 seconds remaining, they have to touch that point. They have to get on the point. Because if they do not, they're going to be losing out on this opportunity. And we see Ghost does recognize that and is able to touch and at least stall the point for as much as possible. Able to survive. Getting a couple eliminations with the help of Dominate onto it. Just needs to get this Reaper here. Just needs to get the Reaper off the point, and with that, as long as they can hold as much as possible, they need to at least get this first objective. And with the Bastion, Ripper on Bastion's able to rip through a lot of health. Let's see how much longer they can hold this. Getting close to the third checkpoint of this first point. Able to get it. They have to stay on this payload. And with that Bastion, it's going to be very strong to be able to do that. They are in overtime, perpetual overtime. Able to push it as far as possible. They have to keep an eye out. The Reinhardt ult comes out, probably throwing himself on the point to try to stall as much as possible, but quickly goes down. Lots of ults coming out. Unfortunately, not able to push them off the point, but getting a lot of eliminations nonetheless. The overtime timer goes down, and that is where we will leave it for the tie-break round. So, keeping that in mind, for the Franklin team to win, they need to capture the objective and push the payload up to this point here. Right where we see, just under this tunnel. And if they are able to do that, they're going to take the victory. And so, obviously, we as the Marvels do not want them to win. We want to move on into the final rounds. And so, the Marvels are looking to try to, I think their best opportunity here is to just prevent the capture of this first point. We saw the Bastion play was pretty strong, and we see actually the Marvels do end up taking the Bastion and Orisa. They saw that last time. It was very strong. We'll see if they can capitalize on this. That's something that we see quite a bit. Ripper doesn't play a lot of Bastion. Hexy doesn't play a lot of Orisa. It's gonna be a little different, but with this double shield composition with the Bastion, it's gonna be tough. So we'll see what they can do. Watching them here as they push through. You see Ghost on the backline, keeping that flank, but their Lucio is pushing in, try to keep a little distraction on them maybe. But goes down, at the very least, lose them into the fight. Reaper and the Lucio going to dive on to Ripper. That's their best bet. And that's why we don't see Bastion a lot, is that ability to be counteracted really quickly. Marvels are slowly going down to the Franklin Knights team. They need to stay alive here. They need to make sure that they are contesting this point. They have a minute left with only two players left on the point. It's going to be pretty tough for the Marvels to come back. Dominate and Phantom, I believe, doing their darndest. Or no, Ghost, looks like. But Ripper is coming back. The respawn times are coming back. But it might not be enough as the Marvels trying to get a couple eliminations as the timer is going up. Maybe the Marvels don't see it quite yet. They need to touch this point so they can deny as much as possible. Probably stall out as much as possible. Big charge coming out from Hexy, but goes down regardless. A whiff on the gravitic flux. Unfortunate for Dominate. But he's able to get a couple eliminations anyways. And I missed a huge Riptire coming out from Ghost, as well as 2 additional eliminations. That's going to be tough for the Franklin Knights. 15 seconds remaining. It is looking good, knock on wood, for the Marvels. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. This is the final fight. Earthshatter coming out, but goes down pretty quickly. Moira coming out as well. The Coalescence. Ripper is coming down to it, getting a lot of damage. Getting that Reaper before that ult comes off, that's going to be huge. A lot of eliminations in favor of the Marvels time. The overtime timer is going down. They're going to touch it here. The Franklin Knights with Misty trying to touch. Diva's coming in, doing a little more touching, trying to stall the point as much as possible. The Marvels need to get rid of them. And with that, the Marvels are going to take the first round. A very close match. We can see it here in the background. The Marvels are very excited. I think I know what this is. Oh, no, this is not what I think it was. Probably a Riptire coming out from Ghost, though. Look at this. I think it only finds a couple. No, it finds 3. Yeah, you know. Normal day for Ghost. Always getting 3 Riptire kills as normal. I don't think he's phased. But with that, the Marvels are going to take the first round against the Franklin Knights. Going to be a really tough match, as you can see. So it is 1-0 after that first match in favor of the Madison Marvels silver team. Awesome play coming out. Like, we're going to be getting right back set up for the next round. In the meantime, stick around for the second round of the semifinal match. We'll be right back with it. everybody, we are back with round 2 of the Madison Marvels versus the Franklin Knights in the Silver League here at XP League Madison. We're going to be going in. We have switched signs and set up for the next round. Let me just fix the overlay for you. Sorry about that. There we go. Got the Marvels on your red team. They're going to be defending first, if I recall correctly. As you saw last round, the Marvels did take the first round of these hybrid maps. And that's going to result in the Knights having to win this round if they wish to move further into the finals. As Marvels getting ready. Yep, they're attacking first. Let's kind of get a quick look at their composition here. We got a Reinhardt, Bastion, Ana, Zenyatta, Junkrat, Sigma. Pretty standard stuff coming from the Marvels. As we saw last round, it proved to be effective. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's what they're going to be doing. And we'll see what they can do about that. The Ghost flying away. Getting ready for the next point. Electing to use this side angle. Keep the Marvels in. We're going to follow them out here. Does look like the Franklin Knights are ready for it, though. As that Bastion up there is going to be a strong contender. See if the Marvels can push their way out of this position. But this Bastion's going to be able to put on a lot of pressure onto the Marvels. It's going to be pretty tough for them to get through. But it looks like Ghost is able to get an elimination onto the Junkrat. And that's going to open it up just a little bit for the Marvels to get through. Ripper's going to rip through some of the shield here. Dodging away the charge coming from Liam Warwick. It's lobbing damage through back and forth. Is it going to be enough for the Marvels to get it? Looks like the Franklin is able to counteract and eliminate Ripper. Like the Marvels are having a kind of tough time here. Pushing through. That Bastion on the Franklin Knights team is giving them trouble. As Bastion usually does. It's all about trying to pick a different composition to match it or kind of counteract it. And we see Bastion be Bastion. Unfortunately, the Franklin Knights do take that. So I know Ghost here is probably thinking with that Junkrat plays, they're going to want to be trying to get some eliminations off onto that Bastion. We see the Bastion ult coming out onto Hexy 1X. Team, you're going to have to regroup a little bit here. The Ripper on that Bastion. Dishing out some damage. Has to move back. We see, though, that Ghost does have his ultimate ready. Gonna be waiting for the aggression, and with that comes the Riptire. Is able to hit to the Mercy and the Bastion combo. That's going to mean that the Marvels are going to be opened up to another possible push. The Ripper on the side gets charged away. Marvels need to capitalize here. They need to push through. This 2 opening from Ghost was what they needed, but it looks like they just didn't have the communication to push through. And now Hexy 1X is on the point, out by a lonesome. Gets the Earthshatter out onto the Mercy, putting them down. Ghost finding 2 eliminations. Try to make up for a little bit of lost time. Earthshatter coming out, as well as a Riptire coming from the Franklin team. Able to find 2 onto the tanks, but Ghost and Ripper are still alive, able to get some eliminations out. And with that, they're capturing the point. The Franklin Knights need to touch, and they are. Ghost doing his darndest to try to push them away. The Transcendence comes out from Tiny Beast. Goes down. The Tiny Beast can get a little bit of damage in here with the Discord Orb. Hexy 1X coming in with the hammer, swinging away. The Nano Boost from Phantom goes on to Hexy, allowing him to do a lot more damage and take a lot less damage. Able to touch quite a bit here. Sigma ult coming out from Dominate, hitting a couple here, getting a quick little elimination, and with Ripper's help on that tank form, Mercy is the last one left in this overtime. The Marvels were able to finish it off, and it looks like they will be able to capture the escort payload. Took them a bit, but eventually they got there. And hopefully they're going to be able to kind of ride this out to victory. The ultimate comes out from the Franklin Knights Bastion. Able to get, wow, 4 eliminations onto the Marvels. Marvels need to reset here. 5 eliminations. And with Hexy out of position, no team to save him. He's going to go down, but somehow baits out the Zenyatta ult. That is not a loss here. The Marvels still have just under 2 minutes to push through, and the respawn's right there. Fortunately, Tiny Beast goes down, but with 4 eliminations off from Ghost, going to be able to push here. Ghost always coming back with these huge clutch rip tires whenever they need it. You know, it takes a lot of skill here. Ghost always has that ult ready, and that shows that he's always able to get a lot of damage downrange as you get more ult charge as you do more damage. Sigma ult comes out, but doesn't find much. Couple eliminations out onto the team. Mercy even finding Ripper, unfortunately. Huge fight coming out, but it looks... It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. The eliminations are coming out. Hexy 1X getting the eliminations onto Orange Chicken and XPL Franklin 12. That's going to mean that they have the space to capture the objective, as you saw there. Phantom holding the back line with that Ana. Ana is very strong in the ability to heal from a very long range with that sniper that shoots healing darts. Looks like Hexy 1X is creating space. Definitely diving into the front line. We'll see a backline push coming out from Dominate. Able to find a couple and hook them up. Get the accretion on the Bastion. Eliminated the Bastion. Going to be pretty tough for them when Ripper on that flank position. Able to get a lot of eliminations, but is now stuck on his lonesome as another fight was going on at the payload. And the Marvels are going to lose that one out. Hexy 1X is by himself, needs to regroup with the team. And with Tiny Beast there and Phantom all coming back from respawn. See what they can do. About a minute remaining. Huge Riptire coming out. Gets counteracted by Ghost. And then has his own Riptire himself. Gets the Bastion and the Zenyatta. It's going to be very big. But the Mercy reses the Junkrat as well as the Sigma ult. But Zenyatta is up there keeping the Transcendence up. Keeping the team alive. But the Mercy on the Franklin Knights is pumping out a lot of heals. Is it going to be enough? The Marvels are getting a lot of eliminations, but they need to get the eliminations on the point so that they can push through. Transcendence coming out. Ghost is trying to cause a lot of damage on that point. Tiny Beast trying to help him out with the Discord Orb as much as possible. Manages to find, but the Sigma goes down with the res off onto the Mercy. We hear the Bastion all coming out. And a little bit of trade between the Bastions. And Nano Boosted Reinhardt is going to be tough for the Franklin backline. And with the Dominate on that Gravitic Flux is going to dish out a lot of damage. XE1X in the back line, finishing off a couple characters, but unfortunately goes down himself. We are in overtime here. It is important that the Marvels do not leave this payload. They need to push it. They touch that off. It's called the classic C9. Leaving the point in overtime. Unfortunately, you have to be really careful as the Ghost comes out with the next Riptire, removing players from the possibility. Graviton Flux onto the point actually kind of helps them out just a little bit, keeping them on the point. But looks like the Marvels are breaking, just barely able to touch that point. Dominates on the point. We see Hexy trying to come in. The Reinhardt comes out, gets Liam Warwick. It is anyone's game here, but they still have to stay on that point. The Sigma all comes down and just able to touch. I don't know what happened to touch, but did they get it through? It doesn't look like they finished the point. However, they're just as good here. They pushed it all the way through. They have 0 time remaining. Obviously, they don't get that extra boost in time from capturing the objective. We saw last round they did, even though they were in overtime and they captured the last objective, they got a minute remaining. It looks like they're not going to be able to get that, I believe. Been a while since we had to deal with, or it's been a while since I've had to pay attention to that. But we'll see how that goes. Ideally, we don't have to come to that situation where the Franklin are able to push it all the way. Ideally, we want the Marvels to be able to kind of stop them in their tracks and prevent them from going all the way. That last point proven to be pretty tough. Again, with the respawn times, the respawn locations, as well as kind of all the positions that are possible, usually ends up in a stalemate at the end there. And as you saw, the overtime came out. Like the Marvels are setting up on the high ground, a wise decision. But again, we see Ripper with that Bastion play. Gonna be able to dish out quite a butt ton of damage. Keep an eye on Ghost here. As I said before, the skill involved in hitting those Riptires and hit them consistently like he has is no joke. Able to do a lot of damage. We see the Reaper, with the help of the damage boost, is up there. D.Va causing trouble and kind of messing up their backline, but Ripper is able to find 2 until he's eliminated by the Franklin Junkrat. But Dominate coming back for vengeance for his teammate. XE1X diving in, doing a lot of damage on their backline. But with Phantom there to keep them just ever so slightly alive with those heals. Gonna help out immensely. Trying to get a little bit of damage in as well. We are trading blows quite a bit. The Hexy1X coming in. Lost the fight a little bit here. The Phantom trying to do a lot of damage, but with that support, can do a damage, but by himself is going to be pretty tough. Though with Ghost coming back up, see if almost got an ult. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls out a Riptire here, try to counteract anything, but with the team touching, unfortunately unable to finish the touch. Gets 2, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here, as they get a lot of eliminations, but that respawn timer for the respawn location has reset for the Franklin team, and they're going to be coming in for some flanks. They're going to be coming out of this room here. This is where they respawn, and so the Marvels probably need to back up just a little bit. But playing this aggressive strat, maybe the Franklin Knights are just not privy to it, and because of that, they're gonna be kind of unsure of what to do, and that's kind of what it looked like a little bit here as the Zenyatta ult comes out. from the Franklin team. Going to be a win for the Marvels there. Dominate, pushing back with that Sigma. Waiting for that team to respawn. Looks like a small group of 3 here. Tiny Beast shooting in with that Zenyatta. Got to be really careful. Zenyatta does not have a lot of health. Gets the ult off, but the Diva Bomb behind has to be shielded. Tiny Beast is in the back trying to survive. Has to back up. Sigma coming out from Dominate. Hits a lot, but gets an elimination and DMAC off. The res comes out onto the Franklin Knight Sigma. But it looks like the Marvels are taking this one. Well, with that, it looks like the Marvels, the Reaper coming back in the back line. Is it going to be enough? Gets pushed away from the Marvels. Marvels have a good position here with Ghost on the high ground, but Franklin Knight Junkrat's going to try to contest it, pulling his distraction away. And with the distraction here, and we see a Reaper coming out, possibly a huge Death Blossom coming out, and it does. Dominate just able to survive it, but with no team is probably going to go down very quickly. Looking to just stall the point here. Has to touch, but unfortunately doesn't. Elects to just kind of hold it off as much as possible. So we'll see what they can do. Ghost coming in, getting an elimination with the help of Dominate, using that high ground to their advantage. That Ripper coming in with the tank form, shooting away, getting a couple eliminations off, then backing off after that crazy tank explosion damage. The Marvels are in a good position, but with 3 minutes left in the timer, they're going to have to hold this position for a quite long time. Creation going out onto the Bastion. So it's going to be pretty tough here. Marvels have to back up, but a Sigma ult comes out. Hits a couple, but is it going to be enough? We hear a Riptire coming out, and Dominate was able to counteract the Franklin's Riptire. But with their Gravitic Flex finding nothing, it looks like. Dominate's on the point, holding them back as much as possible with the help of Tiny Beast. Doing a lot of damage. Hexy 1X diving in. Getting a little bit of distraction here. Hits the huge Earth Shatter. It's going to open it up for the Marvels to push in. And the Marvels are able to push through. Amazing play. Now we have the shield set up for Ripper. 2 minutes remain. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Franklin Knights have to come back with this victory. They have to take this point if they want to see the end of the tournament. The Marvels are holding really strong. Ghost is going to get a couple eliminations as there is a kerfuffle up on the top. It's rezzed off, and with a huge grab hitting the whole Marvels team, as well as the Death Blossom coming out. Going to be pretty tough. Ghost finding one onto the Reaper, but is it going to be enough? Minute and a half. Looking at that timer, it is going to be very important. Marvels are able to push the Franklin team back just ever so slightly, and with it, the Franklin are not going to just give it out. They're going to come back full force, and with elimination on the Ghost, that's going to be a huge boon for the Franklin Knights. And the Marvels have to retreat, but they can't retreat very far as they can't give up much more space. And so the Marvels coming back with another fight. This is probably going to be one of the last fights here. The minute remaining on the clock, keeping an eye on that clock. The Marvels have to touch, have to contest it. They can't let any more space go through. Getting elimination off onto the Mercy from Ghost. Zenyatta ult coming out, the Transcendence. Reaper on the back line, getting a lot of eliminations. And unfortunately, I think that's going to look like the defeat of the Marvels here, as they're just unable to take that round, and they take that. saw this amazing Bastion wall coming out from the Franklin team. 3, 4. Finds the 5th as he sets up and goes whoop. Mow him down. Amazing play coming from the Franklin team. And with that, we're going to set up for the next round, third and final round of the Madison Marvels versus the Franklin Knights. Neck and neck, folks. Neck and neck here at the Madison Marvels, the XPL Madison. We'll see what they can do. We're going to set up for that next one. Stick around. Alrighty, everyone. We're going to get ready for the third and final match of the Madison Marvels versus the Franklin Knights. This is your final round as they push into Hollywood now. We have swapped sides. And with that, we'll see. Again, we're on the third and final round. It is tied up 1-1 against the Madison Marvels and the Franklin Knights. Both teams giving it their all in this semifinal match. The winner of this round will take the game and move into the finals. Playing tomorrow night. It's going to be a tough one for you here. Tensions are high. Marvels looking to take this round for themselves so they can finally push into the final match. Like I said, tensions are high. Everyone is excited to try their darndest and win in the semifinal here at the XPL Silver League. Let's keep an eye here on Ripper on that Bastion. Kind of a little bit of the battle of the Bastions. If they're able to counteract that Bastion, they're able to get a lot of damage in that position right there. No shield. It's going to be tough for Ripper to do anything as the enemy team, the Franklin team, just dishes out a lot of damage. And Ghost finds 2 eliminations, but the Mercy Res comes out onto them. Is it going to be enough? We'll see Zenyatta from the Franklin team coming in. XE1X diving in again. Causing a lot of a ruckus. But in the ruckus, the Franklin Junkrat is going to be able to take the back line. And it looks like the Marvels are breaking. Breaking formation and going down to the Franklin Knights. The Ripper kind of hiding away on the tunnel here. Looks like there is a little bit of no contesting. But yeah, as a very quick capture coming off from the Franklin Knights. Marvels have their work cut out for them. Like Hexy 1X goes down as well. But Ghost is going to dive in, try to contest the point. Able to do a lot of damage and get in their face. But looks like the Zarya is going to be able to get a lot of damage in. We see a huge Riptire coming out, hitting 4. Sorry that I missed it, because holy moly, 4 eliminations from Ghost. He's upping his average. I think before we said he averaged like 2 kills every Riptire. It's getting towards 3 a little bit now. Ghost has proven to be very effective with that Riptire. Phantom using that scoped in healing. Unfortunately not able to save Ripper as the Diva Bomb comes out. Finds 4! Huge Riptire coming out. Huge, not Riptire, that's a Diva Bomb. I'm used to the Riptires at this point. But Hexy or Dominate with a big Diva Bomb. The Franklin team trying to use that Gravitic Flux though to try to make another play as well. But holy moly, the Graviton Surge gets eaten by Dominate's Defense Matrix. That's going to be a big play. Boon in the favor of the Marvels. But it looks like the Marvels do go down quite a bit. So that Diva Bomb did a lot of damage. Riptire coming out. Finds 4 again! Holy moly. As I said, that average is going up. 4 eliminations twice. So you got 4 eliminations here, 4 eliminations there. How about another 5 eliminations? How about 4? How about 3? Holy moly. It's a swing, swing, swing. Swing, swing, swing. First it's the Marvels, then it's the Knights, then it's the Marvels, then it's the Knights, then it's the Knights again, but the Marvels come back full force. It is everyone going back and forth here, giving it their all. The teams do want to win here. This is the semifinals. Bob coming out from the Ash. Not something we see a lot, but the Sleep Dart from Phantom is going to really help it out. We see Hexy 1X with the Earth Shatter coming out, as well as the Nano Boost, able to do a lot of damage in the back line. Zenyatta coming in as well. I mean, at the very least, Hexy 1X was able to push the team very far back. Riptire coming out from, I believe, nope, not Ghost. Ooh, not Ghost. It's so hard to tell sometimes. It gets 3, and that's going to mean the Marvels have to retreat with their tail between their legs just a bit here. Phantom is holding that cart, trying to be a little sneaky. At least, the very least, stalling the point. Able to survive quite a bit, but now Dominate is coming back. So is Tiny Beast. They're going to stall the point as much as possible. That's not a bad plan. Here, a lot of 2 eliminations go down to the Franklin Knights Reaper. Tiny Beast is stalling the point, so is Ghost. Here comes Ghost. Able to, looking at that ult, he goes down, unfortunately, to the Franklin Reaper. Dominate would be wise to touch that point. With the Diva Bomb, is going to zone them out just a little bit, but needs to touch with 2 meters remaining. Is able to just barely touch, and it's going to stall the point. Ripper's going to get set up, but gets DMAC. Dominate gets DMAC and eliminated. Needs to get a couple eliminations here. Pulling away the focus from the cart. Ghost is keeping it contested. Goes down really. Oh, unfortunately. That was a very tight match there. And with that, the Franklin Knights are able to get a little bit more time in their bank. And because of it, are going to be able to get a chance to, a really decent chance to push to the end. The Riptire coming out. Let's watch it follow through. Using that wall to push through. Finds 1. But that one's going to be very important, as it is a Mercy. Keeping down the heals. Keeping down the resurrections. Ult coming out from the Franklin team. Tiny Beast is in a bad way. Getting stuck out. Marvels need to regroup here so that they can try to contest this point. XE1X again diving in, getting a lot of damage through, but just not able to make anything out of it. We dominate on the high ground, and we see Ripper as well as that Pharah. Keeping the back line here, probably requesting some heals here as he is low. Death Blossom coming out, finding Ghost, finding Tiny Beast. This is going to be tough. The Graviton Surge keeps them away from the point, but Hexy1X is coming in, swinging the hammer, but no one is able to touch the point, and because of it, the Franklin Knights are going to full cap with a minute remaining. It's going to be tough for the Marvels here. We did see in the first round that they were able to come back with a minute. I think they were still able to capture quite a bit. And so we'll see what the Marvels can do. This is going to be tough. Like I said, the Marvels did prove in the first round that they were able to full cap against the odds. And go to a tiebreak round, but we'll see what they can do. Marvels are now on the attacks in the Hollywood map. Follow it out here. See the Marvels ready to rumble. The Reaper. A Reaper on that Ripper. Ripper. Rapper. Ripper the Reaper is a true rapper. Tossing away the candy wrapper. Oh, I know. I'm really clever. But we'll see what they can do. Pushing in. Ghost. As always, flying away. Trying to get as much damage and losing the gravity of the lobbed grenades to get some damage in. The Hexy1X using that Diva to kind of get some damage in and is able to contest the point pretty quickly. Maybe it was Phantom trying to use that Lucio to speed boost them through, but it just looks like it wasn't enough. The high ground advantage for the Franklin Knights it's an advantage for a reason, you know? And so now it looks like the Marvels are kind of going in a little staggered, not able to make anything effective happen. Anything that's worth note. We do see, though, Dominate coming in sneaky with that. But is found out, unfortunately. Trying to use the floating footsteps to get him through. Hexy1X is on the point with that Diva. We see Ripper coming out, but Bastion all coming out from the Franklin team. It's going to be tough for the Marvels to handle. And they're going to have to retreat under the weight of the massive amount of damage that this Bastion ult is going to be able to put out. And with that, they retreat and try to regroup. Looking at the ults here, we do have a Graviton Flux coming out soon from Dominate. Well as a possible Riptire. But the Marvels... Oh, no, the Franklin Knights just used their ult, ready for the next fight. 2 minutes remaining. XE1X diving in. Ripper on that Reaper, trying to get some damage on. Ghost, unfortunately, does go down. Sigma ult coming out. With Zenyatta on the point. Sorry about that. Zenyatta on that high ground. It's going to be tough for the Marvels to make anything out, as that damage that comes out from the Zenyatta on that high ground, if it goes unchecked, it's basically just free damage. And if the Zenyatta is able to get a lot of headshots, not an insignificant amount of damage. And so the Marvels need to make something happen. Let's watch Hexy. As we dive in, using the Winston, able to jump in, put in some shield. We see Ghost with a Riptire, hones in on that Bastion, able to dish out a lot of damage. Warwick has the Earth Shatter. Try to keep the marbles down, and it looks like it was effective in doing so. But Ghost is on the point. See what he can do. Buy him lonesome. Able to get in a little bit of damage there, but fortunately the Marvel's just not able to come back. 60 seconds remaining is not looking good for our heroes. The Marvels, as with a minute remaining, they need to capture all the objectives. The Marvels need to regroup here. Can't be staggering it in like we see there. We need to see more coordination. And with the Franklin Knights having their ults, they're able to try to stop that coordination dead in its tracks. The Marvels need to pull something out really quickly here. We see Dominate on that a wrecking ball to try to make something happen, try to pull the attention from the Franklin Knights away so that the Marvels can possibly get in with some damage. But it's the semifinals. I don't know if that's going to work, or maybe I spoke too soon as he does dive the back line. Keeping the distraction. Ripper is out, dishing a lot of damage out. Needs to get rid of that Bastion, otherwise that Bastion is going to do a lot of damage. Tiny Beast finds the Bastion. Couple Zenyatta ults coming out. Franklin with the Riptire, though, gets eliminated. Well, Dominic gets eliminated. There's only two players left from the Marvels. One player left. That's Phantom, and the overtime timer coming out. Ghost needs to touch. Ghost is touching, but against all odds, it's not going to be enough. And the overtime timer is going out. Can they touch? And unfortunately, the Marvels go down, and the Knights take the round, the game, and the series. But not without a parting gift of Ghost with a massive 4-player. 1, 2, ready, go. 4 players on the Riptire. As I said, his average is going up. Went from 2. We're probably hitting the 3 average kills for Ghost there. But that's going to be the end of it all here at XPL Madison. Madison Marvels unfortunately did not win against the Franklin Knights. And so the Franklin Knights, we will watch them move on into the final matches. We wish them all the best, and hopefully they'll be able to take it against themselves, I believe. I think the Franklin Knights are going to be playing the Franklin Magic tomorrow to see which Franklin team is the best. And the Silver League, I believe this puts the Marvels somewhere in 3rd or 4th place, which is not something to scoff at. But with that, we're going to close it up here. I look forward to seeing everyone at the Gold game tomorrow at 2 o'clock for the Overwatch games. We also got the semifinal Rocket League matches tomorrow as well. It's going to be a exciting one for you. Stick around for that tomorrow. I have been Cody. It's been a pleasure watching and casting this game.